A host of music icons from Elvis Presley to Johnny Cash said they had one woman to thank for much of their musical style. She was gospel legend Rosetta Tharpe. A play celebrating her rafter-raising music just opened at Greater Boston Stage Company. It explores Tharpe's relationship with her protege, Marie Knight, not to mention the killer guitar playing that helped her get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Here, actors Pierre Lamia Porter and Lovely Hoffman perform Tall Skinny Papa from the play.
I want a tall skinny papa, yeah. 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 I want a tall skinny papa, that's all I'll ever need. She wants a tall skinny papa, tall skinny papa, tall skinny papa, tall skinny papa. I want a tall skinny papa, that's all I'll ever need.
Pierre Lamia Porter, Lovely Hoffman, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your performance, which was phenomenal.
Thanks for having us.
Sister Rosetta Tharpe, she's described as the godmother of rock and roll. How do you encapsulate who she is, especially in her contributions to music as we know it today?
I read the script and I was so mesmerized and captivated by her story and her contribution to rock and roll music. I didn't know of this woman before this production, before reading the play. So when I learned about it and learned her history, I was just obsessed with wanting to do the role because as a black woman and as an artist, I feel like it's my purpose to tell the stories of black women and my ancestors. So it's just exciting to I'm excited to even have this opportunity to tell her story. Not only was she an amazing vocalist and songwriter, but she was also a virtuoso guitar player.
Well, it's ridiculous to look at her playing the guitar, as I've gone on YouTube now and looked at her performances.
Yeah.
She is stunning.
Yes. One of the things she said, too, is she said, when she was interviewed, I believe in 1950, she said, all this new music that people call rock and roll is music I've been doing way before rock and roll even came about. And she said, a lot of the people 90% of the people who play rock and roll music are from the church. So it tells you about the origins of the music and how, she contributed to this phenomenal music that many people listen to every day.
Well, we'll go back to that in just a moment, but I want to bring you in here in this story. So here we find Marie Knight, who comes into Sister Rosetta Tharpe's orbit, and who is she? I mean, because she knows of her, so she's experiencing greatness.
Yes, Rosetta stumbled across Marie in a performance that they were all doing together, but Marie was singing with another group. And after the performance, she kind of snatched her up, and then they went off on the road together. Marie is also pretty amazing, a self-taught pianist, born and raised in the church, so very... I don't want to say prudish, but sometimes she comes across that way a little bit in the play itself. But I think she was just trying to live a grand life and wasn't really given the opportunity to do so until Rosetta Tharpe came along and took her on this just whirlwind adventure. They had a lot of fun together. They were very, very close.
But this play distills it down to, and I love this construct, to one night. These two women are together, and this is what I love about it too, is that they're in a confined space, so much can happen in that space. But what happens?
This play just kind of plays on their first true rehearsal together, like them meeting in this space and creating new music and kind of putting their show together, which they then took on the road.
And kind of discovering who each other is, because Rosetta Tharpe, when she saw Marie, she was amazed by this woman because she was an amazing contralto, she was an amazing piano player. So this is the night that they meet to kind of discover and learn more about each other and to decide, is this really going to work?
What was Rosetta doing with gospel that was so revolutionary that she was taking the music from the church, but it wasn't the music from the church as we hear it?
Rosetta Tharpe revolutionized gospel music in that most of the time when you heard gospel music, you would not hear a guitar player. And then the way she was able to pick the guitar and play was so impressive, and it was definitely revolutionary. she was very independent and she was very entrepreneurial. She negotiated contracts for them. Rosetta is one of the first artists to even have her own tour buses. Her own tour bus, which was actually flashy. So she was actually able to market herself and take care of the people who worked with her.
Well, you look at the people who were paying attention: Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash. I mean, these huge instrumental figures really attributed their playing and their understanding of music to her.
One of the things the writer of Rosetta's biography, Gail Wald, she said that when we often think of history, we do not think about the black woman behind the white man. And I will even go further to say we don't think about the black woman who was able to like revolutionize and lead, you know, rock and roll music and music as we know of today. So I find that extremely compelling that, you know, this music that we all know and love and listen to, Rosetta Tharpe had a huge contribution to what it is today.
Well, you're both in the music, as we just heard. What was it about the music? How did she adapt it? What did she pull from it, tease from it, to make it so revolutionary?
So there's actually a line in the play where Rosetta says, I brought a little club to the church and brought a little church to the club. And that's the easiest way to put it. It's exactly what she did. She took a little bit of both and kind of meshed both worlds, but made it work. There were some instances where she went a little too far, but a lot of that is because she somehow got locked into a contract with the Cotton Club.
Yes, she did.
And some of her racier songs back then were because she had no say in the matter because she was under contract with the Cotton Club. And I personally believe to this day that that's why she went after Marie, because Marie was still heavily ingrained in the church. And I think it's the only way she could think to save her career.
How do you guys find the chemistry that you have to capture that these two women had, which was pretty profound?
One of the things we always say is that what she says. She says, well, you have a little Rosetta in you, and I have a little Marie in me, so it's kind of natural.
It's true. We were in rehearsals, well, in performances for another show when we started rehearsals for this one, so we've been in each other's faces nonstop for about 3 months now.
And for you, what is it to be immersed in this music, which we don't hear as much anymore? So you're going back to this music back into the 40s, 50s.
Well, one thing that attracted me to this play as well is the fact that my father's a minister. He's a bishop. And I grew up singing gospel music. That is the first place I performed, just like Rosetta.
Well, finally, I just wonder, and we're talking to you right before the show is about to open. It's opened as we're airing, but when you take on characters like these who are real-life figures and you do the deep dive into their history that you have, do you find that this stays with you going forward?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a beautiful story.
It's truly an inspiring story. It really is. For me, like I said, I feel like it's part of my purpose as an artist. Yeah. And one of my favorite artists, Nina Simone, she says, being an artist, with being an artist comes a level of responsibility. And for me, I feel like it is to tell these stories that are not often told, or that are black women's stories who are too often underrepresented in the arts. So it's a pleasure for me to be able to play this role.
Well, thank you both for being here, and you're going to play us out with a bit of music as well, Up Above My Head. Tell me a little bit about that piece.
Oh, man.
It's a song it's a very common traditional gospel song, but it's a song that they actually like rearranged themselves.
Just at the end of a studio session where they were supposed to be wrapping it up and calling it a night, around midnight, they decided to kind of like put this together, and ended up being one of their bigger hits.
Up above my head, trouble in the air. I see trouble in the air. Up above my head, up above my head. I see trouble in the air. I see trouble in the air. Up above my head, up above my head. I see trouble in the air. I see trouble in the air. And I really do believe there's a heaven somewhere. All in my